It's time to start focusing on the Week 2 matchup between the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Evan Lazar. Who knows if it's going to be played in Seattle, right? Apparently, poor air quality could prevent some travel for the Patriots. So we'll, of course, keep you updated on all that developing news. But let's preview the game a little bit because it's going to be an early test for the Patriots. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks prevent a ton of challenges on offense. What do you think is going to be the toughest for the Patriots to be able to contain?
Well, I think the biggest question, Sierra, going in is what Seattle offense are we going to see? In week 1 against Atlanta, they threw the ball 65% of the time. Russell Wilson threw 4 touchdowns. That's not the typical Pete Carroll formula. Usually he likes to run the ball, be more closer to a 50-50 split run pass. But I think what we saw with Seattle with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and obviously with Russell Wilson being, I think, the best quarterback in the NFL, their offense should rely on Russell Wilson's arm. So the question really is, and on the defense side of the ball too, is are we going to get this new age Seahawks that's throwing the ball and playing nickel defense on the other side and doing all these things that Seattle normally doesn't do? Or is Pete Carroll going to revert back to his old self and start running the football 40 times a game again and start playing a lot of base and do all those types of things that the nerds hate? So we'll see what ends up happening, but that's really the kind of look at it right now. Is week 1 was sort of an anomaly from what we've seen the entire Pete Carroll era.
So plenty to watch out for on the offensive side of the ball. How about their defense? What challenges do they present and what will they limit the Patriots from doing?
Well, similarly, Seattle's entire defense is basically different now than it was before. This is no longer the Legion of Boom, and the scheme as a result has changed. They don't have the personnel. They don't have Richard Sherman. They don't have Earl Thomas. They don't have Cam Chancellor to run the same thing over and over again and just kind of lull you to sleep like Novocaine. Now they have to scheme up things a little bit more and do things a little bit differently. So last year they were in base defense with 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers 67% of the time, which was by far the highest in the league. On Sunday against Atlanta, they were in nickel 67% of the time. So a much different look from what they're doing. I think a big reason why is Jamal Adams is basically a linebacker that is in a safety's body. So he kind of has that sort of capability to play both. So even though it's nickel, it's kind of based to Seattle because Jamal Adams is basically a third linebacker on the field anyway. So it's sort of tricky to kind of decipher between, is it more just the Adams effect versus Pete Carroll actually having a change in philosophy. But we're seeing a lot of different schemes, a lot of different looks from the Seattle defense now that they don't have that dominant personnel.
Well, stick with us as we dive deeper into this matchup, give you all the key matchups to look out for later this week on our website at clnsmedia.com and on our YouTube channel at Patriots Press Pass.